see you again.
I may have to call you after that.
I only play with them, to be honest with you. We had played the world. No, I haven't. Sure have.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Garey Park. I'm Kimberly Garrett, the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Georgetown. I just wanted a little housekeeping before I get started. If you do need to use the restroom, we do have the building on the far side of the home open. There's a walkway leading up where those pillars are if you do need to use a restroom. I want to thank everyone today for attending the groundbreaking of Garey Park. This is an exciting day, not only for the Garey family and the Georgetown community, but also for the Georgetown Parks and Recreation staff. They've been working really hard in helping us get to this point, both parks and recreation. They love this property, and anytime we need staff to come out, I do not have any problem having a volunteer. I do need to check their trucks for fishing poles before they leave. So this groundbreaking is also extra special for me. I've been with the City of Georgetown almost 22 years, and I was a part of this project in 2004 when Mr. and Mrs. Garey made their announcement. So it's really special that I'm actually going to get to be a part of the development of this park. And after the groundbreaking, I'm going to invite you all, as you're able to view a video. Back over here to my left, John Ninjagi with the Communications Department has prepared a 6-minute video with some footage interviewing Mr. Garey and the amenities that'll be in the park. So after we do the groundbreaking, if you have time, it'd be really neat if you could watch that video. So at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Jack Garey. He's going to walk you through the history of the ranch when he purchased it 50 years ago and how we got here today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the groundbreaking ceremony for Garey Park. It's been a long time coming, and what I thought I'd do is try to go back, kind of hit the highlights of the history of what is to be Garey Park. And that goes back 51 years. September 15th, 1966, I bought this property. I was practicing law in the city of Austin, had trial law, and I was living on a small ranch, and I wanted more land like every rancher does. And so I found this place. I wanted this location with 525 acres, it's a mile of river frontage, a mile of 2243, and it was just what I was looking for. And so I bought it in 1966, 51 years ago. I ran it as a ranch. That's all this was, ranching country. We had cattle on it and horses, mainly cattle, a good herd of registered Brangus cattle that my wife, Cammy, at the time I married Cammy 30 years ago, Camille Garey, she was a local Georgetown girl that grew up here and went to school here, and she sold her physical therapy practice and got into the ranching business and had a top registered Brangus herd, and she was president of the Texas Brangus Breeders Association. She was so popular and such a good rancher. And then we continued to ranch and work and ride on this place, and we decided 21 years ago, 1995, to build this permanent home here. We intended to live in it till we died. We lived temporarily on the house on the hill up here. On weekends we were there, and while the house was being built. But we fully intended at the time to be here till we were gone. And 13 years ago, 2004, Tammy and I had a discussion. We love the ranch. We hated to think about it being sold and cut up into subdivision. And we talked and decided to give it to either the city or the county, whichever one came up with the best plan. This was to be donated in our wills. It wasn't to be given immediately. We still intended to live here, but in our wills we were going to leave it to either the city or county, and had a little contest. And Kimberly and Randy Morrow worked together and came up with the best plan, and so they won the prize, which is the ranch. And that was in 2004, 13 years ago, that this all begins formalizing as actually a park. And then 11 years ago, 2006, the city had a master plan approved by the council of the park improvements. And in 2008, 9 years ago, the city passed a bond issue with $10 million for improvements in Garey Park exclusively. When we had said we were going to will the house to them, we also committed to leaving $5 million for improvements to be made in matching funds. Well, the city did a one-up, came back with $10 million on their bond issue. It's all right. I put $5 million in my will, so we're going to match them. There'll be a total of $20 million available for permanent improvements, and it's going to end up. I think it's going to end up being the finest city park in the state. It'll be the second largest, but the largest one's not improved. This one will be very much improved, and it'll be the largest. And with the river and with the improvements in the house, it's going to be the finest. Unfortunately, 2010, Tammy, my wife, got fallopian tube cancer, terminal. 2012, Tammy passed away. That was 5 years ago. Then, 4 years ago, I decided to go ahead and we were deeding off the land that we were going to leave in sections of 100, kind of estate planning practice. We deeded it retaining a life estate. And so we retained the life estate on 2013. We deeded the house itself with retaining a life estate, and I'm still living there. Then 3 years ago, married the love of my life, Doris. Doris sitting here. She's also my timekeeper. So when you see her raise her hand, just tell her it's time to stop. Anyway, we got in 2015, 2 years ago, Doris and I thought, hey, the city's got the land subject to a life estate. They've got a bond issue available, already passed for $10 million. I think I got $5 million for me. The only impediment in starting with the park was me. So I said, I need to get out of the way. And talked to Doris, and she was very graceful. She just made a move, sold her house she'd been living in when we married, and moved in with me. And so I talked to her, and she was very gracious, saying, yes, we'll vacate this house, give it to the city to start the park. And we found a lot in Escalera next door that backed up to the park, that we very much liked. It was a pretty lot, 2 acres instead of 525. But anyway, we built us a nice home there where we live, and we intend to live there till we're gone. But in the meantime, I have deeded all interest to the city, and the city has had contractors. They've already had it bid 3 or 4 months ago. The bids came in a little too high, and so they rebid it a couple of months ago. And Prime Construction was the low bidder on a big part of the job, $10 million. They were low by $400 for the next bidder, so they played it real close, and it was tightly bid. Okay, that brings us up to the present pretty much, because they have a pre-bid conference, pre-construction conference next week. They're supposed to start actual breaking ground, doing work next month, April, and they say within a year they're going to have a park, and we'll have a ribbon cutting ceremony then. And so that's the history pretty much, and I think it'll be a wonderful park. I'm looking forward to seeing it built. I've got my little Kubota and a gate in the back of my lot where I can zip right in. They don't know it, but I'm going to help them build it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garey. This is an amazing gift that you've provided the city. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mayor Dale Ross. He's going to provide us some more remarks. Thank you.
Just like every day in Georgetown, today's a special day. It's a beautiful day. Georgetown's been a work in progress for about 169 years. We were formed in 1848. And other than the day that we were formed, I will predict that this will be a day that is the most historic in our 169-year history. This is truly a remarkable project. A lot of good people. The Jack Garey and the Garey family name will be living on. It'll be a legacy for hundreds and hundreds of years. And if you can just imagine a couple of hundred years from now, when all the development has taken up most of the land, this will be a green oasis that will be a beacon and calling people to come here to enjoy the beautiful park and get back to nature. And again, I don't think Jack will mind me telling this story. And this speaks to the character of the man and how humble he is. Mickey and I saw him at a rock fundraiser on a Saturday night. And then on Monday he calls and says, I know you're a busy guy, but we want to redo the deal. And I'm going, oh my, I don't know if I like how that sounds. And he says, I know you're a really, really busy guy, and I just need like 15 minutes. And so here's a guy that has given the city 525 acres and $5 million. He owns my calendar, okay? And I just told him, I said, Jack, whatever's good for you. And he came and we met at City Hall, and then he talked about his vision that he would like to see this developed before he's called home. And so how humble can a guy get that is still just needing 15 minutes of your time after he's given so much to the citizens of Georgetown? So I think that's all you need to know about Mr. Garey. I really do. I do have some remarks here, and as usual, they are brief. We have some city council representatives here today. From District 1, we got Anna Eby. We got District 5, Ty Gibson. District 7, Tommy Gonzalez. I saw him earlier here today. We also also, who else? Oh, and Mr. Brainerd, District 2. Mr. Brainerd's here as well. Yeah, he's the quiet council member. So, and also we have our Parks and Rec Board, and these are citizens that volunteer their time and talent and really help the city of Georgetown formulate a strategy with respect to Parks and Rec. And today we have Jim Hunyon here, Mike Simpson, Catherine Kaner, Daniel Hopp, Larry Gambone, Scott Marmurdo, and Wayne Byer. And the folks that make it happen on a day-to-day basis, the city manager's office. We have our city manager, David Morgan. And we also have Jack Daly out of the city manager's office. Okay, I'm going to tell you all this, okay, and this is like a secret, okay? Okay, Jack really runs the city, okay? This is the way it works. Jack makes David look good. David makes council look good. But he's like the Wizard of Oz. Behind the scenes, he's pulling he's doing all the puppeteering kind of thing. So Jack is the one that makes it happen right over there. And who else? Lori Brewer is here somewhere. There's Lori over there. See, they're always in the background, and they're the ones that make all the good stuff happen. So anyway, we'll get on with this. But yeah, in 2004, Jack and Cammie Garey announced that they'd donate their 525-acre ranch to the city for a public park. In addition to the land, $5 million was pledged for park development, with the city matching the donations. One of the reasons the city was chosen to receive the ranch was that we would develop a master plan with input from both the Garey family and the public on how the park should be developed. The master plan was completed in 2006 and served as a guiding document for the development that we're going to talk about today. Knowing the city would have to match the $5 million donation in 2008, the voters approved a park bond which included $10 million for the park's construction. Upon completion, Garey Park will become the city's largest park, which is roughly 1.5 times the size of Zilker Park in Austin. That's right, 1.5 times the size of Zilker. Park and amenities are going to include a playground, a splash pad for Anna, a dog park, a 4-acre dog park for all your dogs, and an equestrian arena, pavilions, and more than 6 miles of hiking and equestrian trails. Garey House, which is 6,000 square feet, will be renovated as an event venue. The total budget for the project is $13.5 million. These funds include the $5 million donation from Mr. Garey and 2008 park bonds. The general contractor for the project is Ritter Botkin Prime Construction Company of Pflugerville. The $10.7 million contract includes construction of the park and the renovation of Garey House. Representing Prime Construction is Brian Ritter and Drew Botkin. Are y'all here today? Thank y'all for being here. Austin-based Happen Associates completed the park's design. Representing Happen Associates is, I saw Tim Bargainer earlier. Tim is back in the back. And Brian Binkowski. Other members of their team include, for the Mode Design Company, is Ryan Hassenwatt. Hendricks Consulting Engineers are Brian Hendricks. Populous, which is Todd Grala. And assisting with the operational plan was Jim Rogers. Y'all are all here today, right? They're all in the back there. Low profilers. Okay, so construction of the park is expected to take 12 months, and hopefully in the spring of 2018, that's next year, we'll all be gathering here again for a grand opening of the most amazing facility that Georgetown has ever seen in our 169-year history. So, also, I want to say a big thank you for Almighty Rentals for the tents and chairs, and Prime Construction for providing the refreshments. Now, Kimberly, if you'll want to say some words.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we would like to officially break ground on the park. If we could have the city council members that are present and the Parks Board members come forward. We will take some subsequent photos with the contractor and the architect and with the Parks and Recreation staff. And the Garey family, please, Glenn and Doris, if y'all will come forward with this picture.
Glenn? Right by Jack. Let me have a stylish comb for you today. You're right here. Hey, okay, everybody's got to put their hats on. George, if I were you, I would say, I'm not putting that silly hat on. You got one?
Do I have,
Good.
am I in the right direction? Do I have it on our?
We have one extra helmet here. Well, here's Jack's shovel. And there's Doris. Who needs? I got a shovel here. This is Jack's. That's Doris.
Gary, grab your shovel.
Yes. You got it. You got to make it happen.
I love playing
All right, we'll just take some photos of holding the shovel like this first, okay?
Double fist.
Or however you.
Are we looking at John? Or are we looking at?
Everyone scanned left to right, so everyone gets a front
Everyone
view.
look at Beth.
Beth. We're looking at Beth.
Beth gets a shot this time. This is for you, Beth.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll take some dirt, and lift it up. We'll hold it up, okay? So then we'll take some photos. We're holding it up as much as you can.
Heavy. This is heavy.
All right, look at Beth.
So bossy.
Oh, great.
Just managing, ma'am. Yeah.
Just 30 more minutes.
All right, on the count of three. On 1, 2, 3. We're gonna throw it, okay? So ready? 1, 2, 3.